Welcome to Funny Like a Clown podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Wirth, coming out of Beantown. That's Boston, where it's a gloomy day here, but hey, they can't all be winners, right? But a gloomy day in Boston is a better day than, a nice day somewhere else. Hey, who knows? I don't know. We got food. We got the best food in the world. Come to Boston. This is episode 23. We're going to be talking about Kevin Hart, the legendary comedian. It is June 5th, 2019. As always, Funny Like Clown podcast is brought to you by G Vegas Buffalo Sauce. For the spicy, sweet, savory taste at game time, there is only one G Vegas. And you want to talk about hard-working comedians like Kevin Hart. On the phone, I got one of the hardest working New England comedians I know. Welcome to the show, Luis Vazquez.
Hello. What's happening?
How you doing, man?
I'm living the dream, man. Hope everybody's doing the same. As far as I'm concerned, every day is a Friday.
That's right. What made you want to discuss Kevin Hart? Why was he your choice?
Oh man, what can I say about this guy? He's just a little bit younger than I am, and he's been doing comedy for a very long time. He's a hustler supreme. He's the kind of comedian, but he took his brand to a whole new level, like a level that most comedians can't even fathom, much less try to.
Sure, he's reached a level most of us dream of. And I remember one of his comedy specials, he said he was with his friends and they were a little circle and he was hyping up before the show saying, everybody wants to be famous, but nobody wants to put in the work. And I thought of you, because I see you were friends on Facebook and every night you're in a different state doing comedy, so you're one of the hardest working guys on the scene, but that's what it takes to get ahead in comedy, am I correct?
Yeah, that's really the only way that you can do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't sit by the phone and wait for the phone to ring, man. You got to make something happen. But in all of his material he's put out, what's one of your favorite memories of something that he's done?
Oh, honestly, I've just been following his career for a while, and I looked at where he started in Philly, and the fact that he came from, meager beginnings. It wasn't, and nothing was really handed to this guy. He really worked his way up, and
He put in the work, it paid off, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally the American dream,
But do you have a favorite skit of his, or a favorite movie, or a character, or something he did, or?
I've seen a bunch of his movies. One of my favorites, which was kind of campy, was the one he did with Rock, Central Intelligence.
Central Intelligence?
It was just funny. The way that they played off of each other, and he's a super mega millionaire, but he can play the everyman still.
He stayed down to earth. I know that happened to Eddie Murphy. When he was young and raw and from the streets, he was hilarious. Then he went Hollywood later in his career, and he lost his edge when he went Hollywood.
Right, exactly.
Money can turn people around.
He really kind of did, and I think the differences between these two guys is that Eddie Murphy never really gave back to the comedy community that I can tell.
Right.
And Kevin Hart's been producing shows for he's been promoting other comedians. He started his own. He started the Laugh Out Loud app. Well, he posts a lot of comics, and he recently did something in Boston, and which was cool, showcasing other up-and-comers.
Sure, because that's part of it. When you get big, you got to give back. That's how comedy stays alive. Is the headliners give time to the openers, and the openers become headliners, and it's your job to give back.
Right. Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy, he had Arsenio Hall. He had in Coming to America. He gave Arsenio a big break, and he got his own talk show out of it. And a few of the guys
that's
from.
That's really the only person you can point to.
Well, what was it? The Cosby Show there too. Some of the cast of the Cosby Show I were in his movies later on too. I remember a few of them. So he had as far as acting goes, as far as stand-up comedy, I can't think of comedians that he gave a break to. But in acting, he certainly gave back a little bit. But let's see, Kevin Hart. He began by winning several comedy competitions throughout New England, and that's the same turf we're pounding. So we might have hit some of the stages that Kevin Hart hit. Culminating in a 2001 break when cast by Judd Apatow. That's the guy for a reoccurring role on the TV series Undeclared, which only lasted one season. Do you remember the TV show? Or
I do not remember that.
It only lasted one season, so I guess unless you were a fan that one season, man, it wasn't. But that was really good. His big break was cast on that, and but I mean but being on that landed him other roles on TV, and you know, a lot of people say it's a lot harder in this business to get into the club than it is to move up. Once you're in the club, it's easier to move up than it is to break that wall to get in the comedy club.
Well, I mean, they don't call it a wall because it's easy to get through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of clubs around here you'd like to get into, and unless you're in that circle, they won't let you in, and it ain't easy to get in that circle. But I mean, once you do finally break through and get in the circle, then you know they're happy to move you up, you know, opener to middler to you know host or whatever, you know.
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I try to get around different spots. It has a dual edge to it in that I'm not necessarily in with one specific group, but I float around and I get to know a lot of different people. And
sure, you can never have too many connections in this business. Because if one door closes, you got to have another one to open.
Absolutely not, and you know, it's cool to hitch your wagon to somebody that's helping you out, so that you can turn around and help somebody out. But you know, comedy is one of those few things that it is a truly solo act. I mean, you're up there by yourself. You can write with a million people, but
and it's tough to be in every circle too, because a lot of people don't like each other in comedy. If you work for one guy, the other guy won't let you work for him because he don't like him, and if you're in that circle, you can't be in the other circle. So it's
thankfully I haven't had that kind of experience yet. You know, I'm stressed yet because you never know, but I haven't had to be in that situation.
As you move up, I mean, it starts out where you're having a lot of fun. You know, as you move up, it turns more into a business than it does fun. I've noticed in comedy. It's you know, once money's flying around, then it's a business, and you got to take it more business-like than having fun. But that's the business. Let's see, Kevin Hart, after he did the one season on Undeclared, it landed him other roles such as Paper Soldiers in 2007, Scary Movie 3 in 2003, I'm sorry, Paper Soldiers 2002, Scary Movie 3 in 2003, Soul Plane in 2004, In the Mix in 2005, and Little Fockers in 2010. Did you see any of those?
Yeah, I saw, matter of fact, the first movie that I saw with Kevin in it was Soul Plane.
Okay.
I regret admitting that out loud, but I found it funny because I didn't look at it as a serious thing.
Right.
It was what it was. It was just a campy movie. I mean, if anyone believes that Snoop Dogg could ever fly a plane, they are smoking something.
Yeah, right. You got to buy into the movie, right?
Never a movie that was going to garner anybody any critical acclaim. It was slapstick. It was funny, and that's where I first saw him. The next one, a 40-year-old virgin, he had that scene-stealing moment with him and the other guy. I can't remember his name, and I feel bad because he's actually a really funny guy too. But when they got into that interaction, it's like hook me up, you know, and they start going back and forth.
It's funny how sometimes one scene can steal the whole movie. It's like you're not even the star of the movie, but you're that one character that was remembered.
Yeah, and you know, and that's kind of how I want to approach my comedy. I don't necessarily need to be the scene stealer, but I definitely want people to remember what I do.
Right, be good at what you do, whether it's a minute or a half hour. Just be the best.
Exactly. You got to just maximize the time that you have in front of a crowd.
Sure.
You never know who's in that crowd. You never know
who's watching you.
Come out of it.
Yeah. I'm a big Sam Kinison fan, and I know he did a movie with Rodney Dangerfield, Back to School, and he did a character, Professor Turgeson, and he stole the whole movie. Professor Turgeson, he was that movie. And Rodney was the star, but he stole the whole thing with that character. He was the one that was remembered.
Well, Sam was he was always larger than life.
He was over the top. Yeah, they said he was.
The guy filled the room with his presence.
He was too much. He was too funny. It was just more than you couldn't hold your breath. But let's see. Kevin Hart's reputation continued to grow with the release of his first stand-up album, I'm a Grown Little Man, in 2008. Which I thought was kind of cool because a lot of comedians, they're not putting out comedy albums because you can't make any money because of YouTube and the downloading thing. So that was... All right. We sneeze on here on Funny Like a Clown podcast, but what do you remember about his comedy CD? Anything? Or
his what?
His comedy CD?
Well, I saw the specials, I think on either,
on TV? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I saw them on cable, so I saw them before I heard them.
I remember the one he was. I was walking
How
around.
many CDs? That's still a thing. It's just I know it's a thing, but it's just like you said, in the age of YouTube.
Yeah, free downloads. You can't make any money, right?
Yeah, and all these other social media applications. To make a CD is just crazy to me.
Right.
But I know that a lot of people still do it.
But I mean, they say now they're more promotional tools, like a billboard. You pay to have a billboard. A CD's like a promotional tool rather than you're not going to make any money, and that's why we're paying so much to see live acts, because that's the only place they can make money. We're paying double for tickets that you used to, but let's see. That led to more films. Think Like a Man in 2012, Grudge Match in 2013, Ride Along in 2014, Ride Along 2 in 2016, About Last Night 2014, Get Hard 2015, Central Intelligence 2016, The Secret Life of Pets in 2016, Captain Underpants in 2017, Welcome to the Jungle that same year, and Night School in 2018. Now, did you realize he had such a film career? Because I might have thought he did 4 or 5, but he's in like 15 to 20 movies.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I was surprised that.
That's one of the that's one of the reasons why I admire the guy as a comic and as a businessman.
His hustle, right?
He spun all this into his own production company, and as a matter of fact, I was just looking at I have him on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram. He just came out with a freaking vitamin.
What is it again?
Who does that? Yeah, he came out with a vitamin line.
Oh, a vitamin line. Okay, yeah, well, I'm a big Van Halen fan, and Sammy Hagar, he started a Cabo Tequila line, the lead singer of Van Halen, and he made like 10 times as much with tequila than he ever made in music. And I mean, consider he was in Van Halen, he made a lot of money in Van Halen, but it wasn't even close to what he made in tequila, so sure. All these big stars got a line of something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And one of the things that I saw, I'm not a young comic. I want everybody to know that. I started comedy when I was 41. And matter of fact, that's how I met you.
Right, but you're never too old to do what you love. I thought I was too old, too. But I would have missed out on some of the most fun times of my life.
He was a mutual friend of both of ours. Matter of fact, I took a class with Jerry Russo.
Right, I took the same class years before, yeah.
Graduation show.
Right, I was at your graduation show. That's right, I was a special guest.
Comedy, and I still look at a lot of these kids these days and how much time they have, and they're just wasting it. They're just taking it for granted.
Right.
Whereas a person like this, who is not that much younger than me, but started when he was 19.
Right.
He started stand-up at 19 years old, so he's got decades under his belt.
Right, made the most of every minute.
He's 39, I think.
Yeah.
So, he's 39 now. He started at 19, and you could see, he has videos of his, his first sets, like at Caroline's.
Yep.
And you can see the difference in him then and now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's the growth of a comedian.
Sure.
That's something that at my age, I'm trying to do.
Well, that's the hard work that we mentioned that gets you ahead. You know, what aggravates me a lot about these young kids is they want it all handed to them on a silver platter. You know, you owe me, I'm entitled. Nobody wants to work for it anymore. And, you know, the ones who work for it are the ones who get ahead. What do they call them? Millennials, right?
And, it's a combination of hard work and meeting the right people, maybe catching a break every once in a while.
Yeah, you got to get lucky. That's a part of it, sure. But, I mean, you got more chances to get lucky if you put in the work, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a brew of all those things coming together at some point, and getting a little help from above, helping somebody from behind. You know, it's 3-dimensional. It's 4-dimensional. You know, and what I was saying earlier is that I see these guys that are coming in there in their 20s and stuff, and they're still trying to figure it out, just like I am. I've only been doing this for 5 years.
Right.
But my perspective as being an older guy is that I don't have a lot of time to mess around. I don't have time to sit
around and wait,
bar show and get hammered and get sloshed, and, and have a great time after the show. I'm thinking about what's the next thing.
That's it. Every minute you got to be thinking comedy. Every minute of your day. Now, what do you remember some of these movies? I mean, Captain Underpants. I remember my son had a comic book of his. I remember. So that must have been a superhero of some sort he was in, right?
Yeah, he did. That was an animated movie. He did a voiceover.
Oh, he did a voiceover. Okay, so it must have been an animation of the magazine. Now, Ride Along
Yeah.
too. Is that where he gets dressed up as an old man and he acts like an Uber driver and he messes with the people he gives rides to?
No, I think he did that for a show. He did that for it was a skit where he tried to get people to bag on him, and then I didn't see the whole thing, but I think that's what it was.
Okay. Because I got a friend in comedy, Carl LeBeau, who...
turn around and say, well, I'm Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Carl LeBeau was Sam Kinnison's best friend, and he actually did one of these skits with Kevin Hart where he acted like a gas station attendant, Carl did, and Kevin pulled in with a lady asking to use the bathroom, and Carl's like, "Nah, get out of here. You blew it up last time. Get out of here. We don't want you here." It was like, I mean, it was so funny, watching Carl in it with him, so that was so cool, but,
That's funny.
I mean, after his, bigger movie career than I thought he had, he released 4 more comedy albums, Seriously Funny in 2010, Laugh at My Pain in 2011, Let Me Explain in 2013, and What Now in 2016, so, I mean... He's releasing just as many comedy albums as he is doing movies here. He hasn't forgotten, where he came from.
No, he actually just did one for Netflix. It's on Netflix now.
Oh, he did another one? Yeah, which George Carlin, he holds the record for most HBO specials. He didn't have to do it. He made the money, but he never forgot where he came from. It was stand-up, Where Eddie Murphy, everybody wants Eddie Murphy to do another stand-up album, and he won't do it, which I can see, because if it sucks, he kind of ruins his career. There's no upside to doing it. Where
it'll take away from the mystique.
Yeah, once he got into acting, though, he gave up the stand-up life. It was acting was it from then on. But I thought one of the titles of the 2011 album, Laugh at My Pain, do you think comedy's an escape for a lot of comedians to deal with their pain? They use it as a...
Oh, absolutely.
Robin Williams, I draw a reference to, But, do you think a lot of comedians are depressed and that's how they deal with the depression is through comedy?
Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. It's a way to combat anxiety and depression, and to express yourself in a way that you can't necessarily do, to people that don't know you.
In real life, right? Yeah.
Yeah, with your friends, you could be hyperbolic and make up big stories and have time about it, but you're not really going to get anything out of that beyond just.
Sure. I was going through a divorce, and my son was getting caught in the middle with child support, and your friends will listen to it so long, and they get sick of hearing you complain. They don't want to listen to it anymore. Where then I started in a comedy routine. I did the child support superhero, and people were dying to listen to it. So I got people to listen to my pain through laughter.
Well, because it's bite sized. Because they can take it and go, or they can take it and leave it.
Right.
But if you're good and you get their attention, you get some laughs out of it, they're gonna want to come see you again and see what else you got.
Sure. I don't want to hear more. All right, let's see. Time magazine puts Kevin Hart as one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. In terms of comedy, in terms of setting an example of what comedians could achieve if they really put their minds to it and don't think one-dimensionally, absolutely.
Yeah, that's some of the 100 most influential people. That's in with, the presidents and politicians and, musicians and everybody. But, he's got the following where people...
He's traveled all over the world to do comedy. People that don't even speak English go to see him. That's incredible.
And they're listening to what he's got to say, so it's something to have that kind of power.
Exactly.
He starred as himself in Real Husbands of Hollywood. I guess that was kind of a reality show. Do you remember him in that?
Yeah, it was a spoof of reality of the Real Housewives.
Okay.
I didn't see too much of it, but it was pretty. It was a neat twist on an idea that people are just trying to get. I think people are getting tired of those types of shows.
Right. Yeah, the reality shows, they were hot for a while, but after a while, the reality shows, I guess they had their fad like anything, and they're fading out now. But as you mentioned, Kevin Hart was raised in Philadelphia by his mom, and his dad was a drug user, and he said himself that he used comedy to cope with the pain, of his dad being a drug user. So here's another comedian who's using comedy to cope with the pain that he went through as a child. So I guess if you're going through problems, try comedy. That's the only advice we could give, right?
Well, some people, it's better that than going on a bender yourself. It's better that than becoming a violent sociopath or,
perfect point.
So seriously
Perfect
unfortunately,
point.
Robin Williams did.
Yeah, Robin Williams.
Which really hurt. It hurt me because I loved Robin.
Yeah, he went through a divorce and he lost so much money. He was being forced. He never wanted to do a Mrs. Doubtfire too, and that was when he committed suicide. Was halfway through filming that, which he was forced to do financially. He didn't want to do the role, but he had to financial wise.
Yeah, and that's a shame.
But I mean, when I came, when I found comedy, and it was true, there's only so much fairness anybody can take in life, and these courts are so unfair toward fathers. It was to the point, it was either, walk into McDonald's with a shotgun and start shooting people, or say, you know what, this is so far past ridiculous, I'm just going to laugh at it. And I chose to laugh at it, which was the right move, but I mean, a lot of people don't make that move, they don't find the humor in it, and they do stuff like Robin, unfortunately,
Well, yeah, and I also can empathize too because I when I got divorced, my ex-wife, the kids actually came to live with me, but fast forward 10 years later, and now she's trying to sue me for custody.
Well, welcome to the world of the child support, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy thing.
Well, what do your kids think of you doing comedy?
I'm sorry?
What do your kids think of you doing comedy? Do they support it, or?
They make fun of you.
No, of course. Well, they do that anyway. So.
You're not funny and all this other stuff. And, I have boys, so.
But I mean, well, I guess you do a little bit, but you don't so much touch on the subject of the breakup and you don't bring it into your act about her trying to get the kids back later on in life.
No, not too much. I mean, the last time we were in court, I was still raw about it. I went to an open mic, and
yeah, right.
Oh my God, it all came out.
You got to watch what you say.
I mean, I didn't necessarily go through chapter and verse, but I gave a brief overview of the situation, and then I turned around and was like, yeah, I didn't come here I didn't come here to make you guys laugh. I just came to make myself feel better.
It's true some nights, right? Yeah, it's the truth, right? But I mean, I caught shit. I did the child support superhero to escape the pain I was going through with the divorce and my son being caught in the middle, but then she used that against me. Oh, your dad goes around town bashing me at his comedy shows, and then it was my son telling me, you better stop making fun of mom. It's like,
Oh, yeah, well,
you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
I was accused of going to comedy clubs. No, I'm sorry, to bars and nightclubs. Who says nightclubs anymore? Are there even nightclubs ever?
That's an old reference, sure.
You go to them every day. No, I don't. You guys.
So she used it against you that you were doing comedy, right? That you weren't home with the kids, you were out doing comedy?
It's just a matter of taking a small fact and trying to exaggerate.
That's the pain you got to deal with, and
Yeah.
Hopefully people learn to laugh about it and don't take the Robin Williams route because that's too serious.
No,
all right, you want to take a few?
I definitely would. I'm one of the few Hispanics that do advocate for therapy. I think it does help.
Sure.
I think culturally people don't necessarily think that therapy helps. I know I have a friend of mine.
A lot of people don't think they need it. Yeah.
No, I'm saying culturally. I don't know. I mean, I know you're Caucasian. You're a big giant Caucasian man.
Right.
But in the Hispanic and Black community, the idea of therapy is seen as weakness.
Weakness,
seen
yeah.
as you should be able to
man up and handle it, right?
I do not believe in that to the point where if it was that easy, then everybody would be fine.
Right.
And sometimes you just need to be able to bounce something off someone else to help you to understand why you're going through certain things mentally. Because a lot of times, certain problems that we have are just in our heads. We just amplify them. We have nothing to do but think about them.
Sure. You get a different point of view from someone maybe you didn't think of.
Versions of those problems.
Right. Well, let's take a few fan questions about Kevin Hart. You ready for a few fan catches and you can comment on them?
Sure.
All right. Christy LaFleur writes in, running on stage going, oh! And I think that was like when he saw some stuff that he didn't like, Kevin Hart. He'd be like, oh, no, you don't do that. I don't want to see that. But what do you think about catchphrases?
They're fine in the moment. But
yeah.
You could be boxed in by a catchphrase.
Yeah, I mean, it could typecast you. But I remember watching one of Kevin Hart's films, and about a week after I saw it, I was using it at work. Like everything was, his dad saying, all right, all right, all right.
Right. All
And
right,
that
all
sticks
right,
in
all
you. I was saying that at work for like a week. All right, all right, all right. Then he talked about his dad at the birthday party where he opened up his birthday card, the 20 fell out and went on the floor, and his dad put his foot over it like nobody was going to see. I was like, that's all real life stuff. I grew up with that shit, but
Yeah. And when his father came to work with, and his father came to see him at a play with sweatpants with no drawers on.
oh yeah, and yeah, what his thing was hanging out. Well, you never seen a thing before.
Yeah.
Oh boy, let's see. Rich Harrison writes in. His real husbands of Hollywood character is funny, and we mentioned the reality TV, but I mean, some people, you know, they turn it on in comedy, and then in their real life it's kind of boring, and that's why they do comedies for the excitement. But and then there's others who, in their real life, they're just naturally funny. I think Kevin Hart's he's naturally funny off stage or on stage. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that he doesn't even turn it on. It's just who he is.
Just natural person, right? You don't even have to. It's not a routine. It's real life. That's why he's telling stories. He's not making stuff up, routines. He's telling actual real life stories, just poking fun.
It's just like a lot of us, man. We take a small bit and all you got to do is pepper in some exaggeration and just stretch it to the point where it's almost gonna break, and then you snap back and you hit the crowd with a hit punchline, and
that's comedy.
Seal it up, and that's comedy, man.
Yeah, but what people can relate to, the real life stories are always funnier than anything you make up, you know, because real life is so much funnier than anything. But all right, we end off every show with some trivia. Ready for some Kevin Hart trivia?
Sure.
All right, I'll preface this. I say it every time. Nobody usually does good on trivia, but we do it anyway because it's informational. But all right, number one. He lived in Brockton, Mass. for a little while. Kevin Hart did. What was his job while he worked in Brockton before he got famous?
Oh my God. Was he a bike messenger?
He was a shoe salesman. So that goes to show you, no matter what job you have, you can go on to be one of the 100 most influential people in the world, no matter no matter what you do, okay? Shoe salesman to where he's at now. All right, number two. In 2017, he did some modeling. He appeared in an underwear ad for what department store?
I'm going to say Macy's.
Macy's it was. Boom. You're 1 for 2. Here we go. So third question will be the breaker. Here we go. Now this one, as I said, some of this stuff surprised me. He had many movies, and this one, it surprised me at first, and after I thought about it, it made sense. But I'll read off the list after I ask the question. But he has received a number of notable awards. But I mean, could you name one award that he's won over the years?
Last year he won like a Teen Choice Award. Don't ask me how I know that.
Teen Choice Award was one of them. All right, so you're 2 for 3. But you know, when you think comedians, people automatically go to Grammy Awards and Emmy Awards, and I'll read the list. He got the Teen Choice Awards, the Black Entertainment Channel Award, the MTV Award, the NAACP Award, the Nickelodeon Award. And I mean, these are all because I mean his demographics are the teenage kids, you know. And you're thinking Grammys and Oscar, the older crowd, but he's getting all the younger crowd awards. So it wasn't stuff I would have guessed, but it made sense afterwards. And one of the other awards he won, I wanted to give credit to, was the Acapulco Black Film Festival, which a lot of comedians they catch shit for doing film festivals and stuff like that. And that's exposure, man. You know, it's like in comedy. You got to do open mics before you can do, you know, main big comedy shows, and you know, you got to do small films before you can be a serious actor, you know. So anybody making fun, you know, fun of short films, hey, that's where you start, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I don't do it. You know, you roast somebody at a roast show, but outside of that, you keep your mouth shut and worry about your own business. Worry about your own business.
All right, Luis Vazquez, I want to thank you for being on the show. What are your parting words that you'd want other people to know about Kevin Hart?
Oh, man, just keep working like the guy does, man. He works non-stop. And if you have the opportunity to do that right now in your life, get it done. Don't wait. Don't think you have tomorrow to do it. Do it today. You can do it today. One of the things I tell my kids all the time is if this is your last week on earth, how are you spending it?
Not sitting around, right? Working hard. Do something, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Good advice.
Video game, or are you going to try to
do something with your life. There you go. Good advice in any field, man. Work hard, and that's who gets ahead, not the people sitting around. All right, we'll catch you on the comedy scene soon, Luis. Thanks for being on Funny Like a Clown podcast.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Luis Vazquez on comedian Kevin Hart, one of the hardest working comedians, and I'm glad Luis was on because Luis, he's one of the hardest coming, up-and-coming comics in New England, and like I said, we're friends on Facebook, and I see every night he's out somewhere pounding the pavement trying to work hard. All right, that's our review today. Catch us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tune in, Funny Like Clown podcast. You can catch us all over the place, man. And till next episode, keep laughing, keep funny, don't take life too serious. If you need help, get help. And most importantly, laugh at life. You got to laugh at life. If you take it too serious, it's going to break you. You have to laugh at life. Good night, folks.